Okay, now we're recording. So we missed a whole wonderful discussion. If you're watching this recording, sorry about that. I didn't press to record. I just pressed it now.
That's all right. That was me rabbiting too much.
That's fine. We're just speaking about the wonderful experiences of Janmashtami and how Krishna is able to reciprocate with all of his devotees, countless millions of devotees. That is his kindness. Okay. So, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nivasisha Shunyabhari Pashtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, I've shared the screen. I think you can see it.
Yeah.
What chapter are we on now?
14, text 17. Chapter 14, the free modes of material nature, text 17.
Text 17.
Okay. Anyone would like to begin? Take us into the Bhagavad Gita.
I can read the first one. Just read it for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada moha tamaso bhavato jnanam evacha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develops foolishness, madness, and illusion.
Yeah, just this is this first sentence is a very good sentence to try and memorize. You might hear it quoted quite a lot. Sattva sanjayate jnanam. So from goodness comes knowledge. Yeah, sattva sanjayate. Also, this word sanjayate is also used elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita as well. So sanjayate means it's born, it arises, or it is produced. So what's that verse? Dayato vishaya pumsam sangashteshu padayate. So by contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment for them. So the same word is used here. Sattva, so from sattva arises knowledge. Yeah.
Okay.
So sattva sanjayate jnanam. Okay, continue.
Develops jnanam. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mood of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. In the mode of ignorance, people are just like animals and cannot see things clearly. In the mode of ignorance, for example, they do not see that by killing one animal, they are taking the chance of being killed by the same animal in the next life. Because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober, in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous. Even if the majority of the people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in mode of goodness, then there is the possibility of peace and prosperity all over the world. Otherwise, if the world is devoted to the modes of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace or prosperity. In a mode of passion, people become greedy and their hankering for sense enjoyment has no limit. One can see that even if one has enough money and adequate arrangements for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind. That is not possible because one is situated in the mode of passion. If one wants happiness at all, his money will not help him. He has to elevate himself to the mode of goodness, by practicing Krishna consciousness. When one is engaged in mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy, but his profession and occupation are also very troublesome. He has to devise so many plans and schemes to acquire enough money to maintain his status quo. This is all miserable. In the mode of ignorance, people become mad. Being distressed by their circumstances, they take shelter of intoxication, and thus they sink further into ignorance. Their future in life is very dark.
Very dark. Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna. Any immediate questions or reflections?
I was thinking this is to do with the mind. I read a little sentence there that it all depends on how your mind is mentally unhappy. When one is engaged in the mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy. So, when they're in mode of passion, ignorance, your mind is not in a mode of goodness. So then you act not in the correct way.
Yes, yes. So in other words, the modes of nature enter into and affect our subtle body. So therefore, our mind gets colored by the mode of passion. Yeah, very much as Prabhupada is bringing out here. Yeah. So when the mind is in a mode of passion, okay, you may be, the external, and generally it's going to be on what you're exposed to externally, it's going to influence your mind. So if you're in a passionate environment, then there's a good chance your mind, your subtle body is going to be in a mode of passion. Yeah. So sometimes you find yourself, you may find yourself desiring things which are not conducive for spiritual life. You may find that. And other times not. Depends what state of mind depends what mode your mind is affected by, or what is coloring your mind. If it's a mode of ignorance or the mode of passion, then Prince also says there be unlimited desires, material desires. We can have unlimited spiritual desires. I mean, that's good. But yeah, very good point. It's actually the mind. Yeah. So,
So if someone is in total ignorance and they don't know any better, how would they be able to come into the mode of goodness? If they don't know what goodness is, they only know ignorance, and they don't know anything else. Is there any
yeah.
chance of them becoming in the mode of goodness?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're highlighting a very important point. I mean, that's the trap. That's the trap. That's a spell, especially the mode of ignorance. What's their chance?
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But the principle is, I mean, you're highlighting a very important point that without knowledge of the modes of material nature, I mean, that's why, as we mentioned in the beginning of this chapter, Prabhupada mentions that this is the most important chapter so far in the Bhagavad Gita. Because at least, let's say for us, if we're having a clear insight into the workings of the modes of material nature, so we can be on the lookout for things or situations in a mode of ignorance and we can avoid it. So it's the same principle for those who, even if they don't have this knowledge,
Mhm.
their only hope is to get knowledge, is to gain knowledge of the mode of goodness. Otherwise, they're going to sink. Prabhupada says they sink further into ignorance.
Yeah.
So there's no magic spell that someone's going to touch them, they're going to come into the mode of goodness. They have to
Mm.
do things that are sattvic. They have to get their lives together. It's,
Like the homelessness people,
yeah,
they've turned to drink and drugs, but their only chance is survival, really, in a way. Survival
yes.
meaning they need a drink or they just need a bit of food or a shelter at night. They don't know they're a bit like animals,
Yeah,
really.
that's it. I was just going to say that you just described animal life.
Yeah.
But understanding this, then if you're somehow or another, you've got a cousin who's homeless or whatever, and you know someone, or let's just say, their only hope in the mode of ignorance is that they come to the mode of passion.
Yeah.
Okay, they might not be ready for the mode of goodness, but if they're mode of ignorance, get up, man, get a job, get yourself together, man,
Yeah.
get with it, you know.
Yeah.
So if they get a bit passionate, they
Yeah.
passionate, they want to try and, get this and get that. They want to do, you know. I
Mm.
mean, there are stories of, it's not all lost and hope. I mean,
No.
it's in everyone's heart. So you do meet, sometimes you hear stories of persons who spent a long time homeless on the streets and they managed to get their life together,
Yes.
so that does happen sometimes, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult, but it's not impossible. But they have to bring principles of passion into their life if they're in a mode of ignorance.
I think in the way Kali Yuga is increasing, it's harder for them now. Maybe, even 10 years ago, they had a little bit of chance, but now it's just, total, a total ignorance for them because it's just getting worse and worse. And I
Yeah,
suppose they're just looking for sense gratification in some form, and that's all they know.
yeah, like sense gratification is the aim of life. And I think I mentioned before that the deepest question people ask today is how much does it cost?
Yeah.
That's the deep, most
Yeah.
profound question that they ask, that they think about. But it's interesting, Prabhupada. I mean, the words that Prabhupada uses is very interesting. Like here, he said, I just noticed this. If the world is devoted,
Mm,
devoted, only also we use devotion in the sense of Krishna consciousness, but here, if the world is devoted to the mode of passion and ignorance,
mm,
there can be no peace. And that's exactly what we're seeing today. And as you're mentioning it, I mean, it's not getting any better.
mm,
The only hope is that sometimes it gets to such a degree that people lose hope in the material structure and in material life,
mm,
and they lose heart and they go in another direction. Yeah, they kind
mm.
of what they call it, they kind of sign off from the rat
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
They live a more and they change their lifestyle. And but that we're seeing
Mm.
kind of what they call it, there's like a
There's a word for that, isn't it?
yeah, where it is a juxtaposition. People really become more grossly materialistic, or they're going towards principles of sattva and living,
Natural living.
yeah, natural and live. And that's the ones that we can help, or that's the ones we can possibly expose to a Krishna conscious. And that's the ones who a lot of our devotees are. I know Radhanath Maharaj and others that his focus is on those type of persons who are taking up principles of yoga and sattva in their life. So that's also happening as well. That the darker it gets and the more of a struggle it gets, persons who are blessed with some good intelligence, they kind of want out. So we're seeing that happening, you know. And it's amazing here, how Prabhupada, just by understanding the modes, you can have a very good insight into what's really going on in the material world. You know, I'm reminded how Prabhupada he wasn't at all befooled or at all impressed by a Western society. When he came over, was it when before he stopped off in Boston, wasn't it? And the captain of the ship took him for a walk in Boston. And Prabhupada wrote in his diary words to the effect that all the population here is covered in the modes of ignorance and passion. How am I going to make your message attractive to them? And in this way, he's in his humility, he's really dependent on Krishna. Well, other persons come from India and they're completely enchanted.
Mm.
They're completely enchanted and they become, and for them, what of course, India's changing now, but for a lot of people coming to the West, they become completely enchanted by its material opulence, and they can completely, yeah, enchanted and befooled into thinking that that's the path of happiness.
Mm.
Yeah, one time I was distributing books on Oxford Street, and this classic Indian couple came up from the underground, and it looked like they just arrived. You know, they had a little suitcase and they was dressed as classic Indians straight out of somewhere, villagers, so I don't know. But they came out of Oxford Circus and they looked like they was looking at the heavenly planets, you know. I was looking at all the shops and all the, you know, because, you know, actually they went towards Regent Street, you know, and Regent Street, you know, they got these big, it looks quite impressive materially.
Mm.
So they never seen anything like it. And they're like little children looking up with big, you know,
Oh.
completely enamored.
Mm.
Think that there's happiness there. But Prabhupada, he wasn't at all impressed. He knew it was all about a passion, ignorance. But Prabhupada's bringing out here, especially it's interesting, he brings out principles of Varnashram that is needed to educate people in a mode of goodness. And that's what Varnashram does. You know,
Mm.
it's all based on the culture of sattva. So that's what we can, you know, sometimes when I'm preaching, I'm not preaching direct Krishna consciousness. I'm just trying to encourage them to get their life together, you know. If I meet young people and I'm preaching to them and they're giving me an ear, I'm I'm telling them to clean up their life, stop taking drugs, stop associating with your friends who take drugs, you know, get your life together before you really go and understand about spiritual principles. But Papa says it here. He's trying to encourage, yeah, by to stop this irresponsibility, education for developing a mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. So he's not saying education in Krishna consciousness. He's saying education for developing a mode of goodness of the people in general must must be there. So there may be some ways we can help people. You know, we can start sharing principles of sattvic living, you know, vegetarian lifestyle, or vegetarian diet, rising early, keeping away from intoxication. You know,
Yeah.
some may be more open to that than surrendering completely to Krishna. You know, so it's good to take note of what Prabhupada is saying here in this purport. Because then he
Mm.
says, yeah, then people will be happy and prosperous. That's what they don't know. People think you can be happy from having stuff and having things. No, you can be happy if you live in a mode of goodness. If you rise early in the morning and you got some religious, you know, you got some principles you're following in life and etc. And you're
Mm.
regulated. And then sattva sanjayate ganam. From that life, from that sattvic lifestyle, then one will develop some real kind of wisdom and knowledge, and perhaps they if they meet devotees, they can go further and take up spiritual principles and develop Sudasattva. Yeah.
Mm.
Then people will become happy and prosperous. Yeah, that's how thousands of years ago people were happy and they were prosperous. Correct. You can give different definitions of prosperous. We can think, okay, I've got the latest iPhone, then I must be prosperous. That's all about the passion. There's all
Mm.
about the passion, all the phones, and sort of it isn't. So I'm going on one a bit now, but it isn't. You know, in the past, if you look at the past civilization, you can see there was no mobile phone, there was no Teslas, there was no lifts, there was no this. It wasn't because they were backward. It's because they were satisfied.
Mm.
I mean, that's why. Because they were happy and they were prosperous from the thing from the natural I would say from the natural obstacles that come from Mother Earth.
Mm.
That was the prosperity, was milk, land, wheat, yogurt. And so they were very happy. But so it's yeah, but today, as you said, it's like it's really intense,
Mm.
passionate.
AI.
Yeah, you got AI as well. Any other comments or questions on this? But uh, okay, we're very blessed, isn't it, that we are reading Bhagavad Gita and we're learning about we're learning about the material world and learning about the modes of material nature.
Yeah,
I
like
Yeah, I really wish I was taught this in school. I really wish when I'm in a class, a teacher would have stood up on the blackboard and wrote goodness, passion, and ignorance.
yeah.
None of the blackboard. Then he turned around. Okay, children, what foods are in the mode of passion? What foods are in the mode of goodness? Okay,
Mm.
well done, John. Well done, John. Yes, correct. What's going to happen to you, children, if you eat foods in the mode of passion? No, no one taught anything like that.
Isn't it brilliant if we were?
So, yeah, I was thinking that, we see parents try to imbibe, isn't it, some good principles in children. Say thank you. What do
Yeah.
you say? Say thank you. Say please. Tidy up after you. Don't be rude. They try and, I mean, that's there. Anyway, let's go on to 14:18. So, yeah, so this next verse is often quoted by Prabhupada. It describes the destination according to what mode governs your life. Of course, the modes go up and down, but there will be one specific mode which will be the kind of signpost for your life. So where you go in the next life. This all sounds very familiar, but I think the same has been kind of mentioned before.
Okay,
Go on.
when you are when you're tired, I mean, I saw that on yesterday. When you're tired, even when you are,
Everyone was tired yesterday, wasn't
yes,
it? You
yes,
could see
yes.
everyone was
So,
blissfully tired.
yeah. So then you tend to get into this mode of passion, even if you're cooking or something. I saw that. So then how would one realize I am tired and I'm saying things I shouldn't say, meaning like I'm in a mode of passion in a way. I'm trying to understand it. Can you understand that yourself, or has somebody got to tell you, or
Mhm.
make sense to you?
Yeah, and I think I know
I
who.
would love to help there, but I don't know, or even for myself, I would love to understand it myself as well and move up a bit.
Yeah, for some,
You step back. What I mean, you
yeah,
know what I
for
mean? How would I act? How should I act?
well, for some, you may. I think I know. Dare I say who?
No, yeah,
But,
yeah.
but,
I'm just
but
working.
sometimes in some situations, we just got to observe the modes itself and just, kind of learn to. Sometimes we have to tolerate a mode of passion. Sometimes there's not much you can do about it. Someone's so passionate and is in a doing things in a mode of passion that it's dangerous to try and tell them anything. Otherwise, they get more upset. Those, so like sometimes maybe you just gotta, let it go as long as they're not setting fire to the Bajari department and nothing like
Or was it like that in the
No, more,
kitchen?
I was also thinking for myself as well, really. I mean, I can see that, so it can project on me as well. Like if
yeah,
we
yeah.
get to that kind of situation,
Yeah,
then
that's right. Because if we're tired, then the intelligence is often not working so well. So you have
Mm.
to kind of when you're in a certain when you're tired and you're tired and your intelligence is affected, you have to tread more carefully.
step
You have
back,
to
right?
understand that I'm now in a mode of I'm being affected, I'm very tired and I'm feeling, susceptible to mode of passions. Just have to I know, just have to be a bit more careful. Or just come to terms with it and just sign off. Now I'm too tired. I need to rest.
Get a bit of rest, like go away and sleep for an hour or two, come back and you'll be in a better state to
Yeah.
do further
Nothing
service.
wrong with being tired in Krishna's service. It's only natural.
Yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah.
serving Krishna, especially on festival times. So you're fasting the next day, you're a little bit tired. So if we can stay, we can,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I was thinking to myself how I would, because I tend to now work on the way my body is. Like they said to cook on Saturday 1 to 4, and no, I cannot manage that. Come in the morning, dress, come back home to deities, go back there and cook 1 to 4. I would be like,
Yeah,
So yeah,
Prabhupada says, it reminds me, Prabhupada says in one place that to cross the material ocean, we cannot swim like a madman. So in other words, we have to learn to pace ourselves. We have to kind of be in tune to ourselves and kind of know how to pace ourselves. So that we don't become influenced by the mode of passion, ignorance, so we can stay in the mode of goodness. Because if we're overstretching ourselves, then we might find, and that's when we might start to criticize devotees or etc.
right, okay.
Right, let's have a look at text 18.
Mhm.
I can have a read of this. Udvam gajanti satvashta madhye tishtanti rajasaha chakkanya gunavrittishta adho gajanti tamasaha. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go up. Hmm. This sounds quite familiar. Did we read this last week? I can't remember. Perhaps it's because I've read this a few times.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go up towards the higher planets. So gradually go up. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets. That's us. Those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Okay. So these hellish worlds are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. If you're thinking of going there, you can check it out. Purple. In this verse, the results of actions in the three modes of nature are more explicitly set forth. Okay, so it has been mentioned before, but more explicitly set forth. There is an upper planetary system consisting of the heavenly planets, where everyone is highly elevated. According to the degree of development of the mode of goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in this system. All right, so there's different degrees of the mode of goodness. The highest planet is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka. That's where the sages, or where the prime person of this universe, Lord Brahma, resides. We have seen that already we can hardly calculate the wondrous condition of life in Brahmaloka, but the highest condition of life, the mode of goodness, can bring us to this. I would imagine that on Brahmaloka, as Kali Yuga progresses here, then Lord Brahma's seeing a very hardly anyone coming up. Hey, boy, I haven't seen anyone come up for Earth for a long time, man. There's Kali Yuga. Yeah, it ain't no one going up lately.
It must be quite lonely up there then.
Yeah, there's no one coming up for a long time. Mm. The mode of passion is mixed. It is in the middle. Okay. Tatashta, between the mode of goodness and ignorance. A person is not always pure. It's interesting. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in the mode of goodness, do you remember that verse? That the modes are competing for prominence,
Mm.
more or less. Sometimes mode of ignorance is prominent, the mode of passion, etc. So Prabhupada's referring to that here. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in a mode of passion, he will simply remain on this. So purely means, it doesn't mean pure in a sense of nothing, no impurities. It means that they're just in a mode of passion. I mean, the whole life is passionate. It's just passion. Ah. He will simply remain on this earth as a king or a rich man. Sometimes you have to be careful. Sometimes, dare I say, a devotee's life may be just a mode of passion. The whole life is passion.
Mm.
Yeah, devotees can be in mode of passion all the time. Yes.
So says Mother Chandravali. She's declared it. Yes,
Mm.
that's a fact. We could, it may, yeah, we are conditioned souls, so we're not in Sudasattva. So our life may be, even though we've taken initiation, our
Mhm.
life, if we analyze it, it may be it may be passionate. And that's when chanting becomes difficult, etc. Hearing and chanting, that's when we've got no time to read, no time to do good sadhana. It may be just because of the mode of passion, because their lifestyle was passionate,
Mm.
you know.
Because, you know, when we are constantly thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. It's all Krishna conscious. All the items you're writing is all Krishna conscious, you know. But there is not enough time to think how to do, when to
Yeah,
do,
that's it. It's
how
passion.
can I plan? Okay, can I just get my runs done now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This.
I
Oh,
mean,
let me do this, and I'll do my runs later. You know, like what I mean, that it's Krishna
yeah, it's the
conscious,
mode of,
but not
yeah,
planned out.
but it's the mode of passion. Give it,
It's mechanical.
it's mechanic, it's the mode of passion, you know, where
It's
you can be
passion.
doing so many, trying to do so many devotional things, but it might be a symptom of your being in a mode of passion. That,
Yeah.
yeah, there's one boy I met in where was I? Birmingham, and I was staying at his house. I was doing some Pujari teaching there. I stayed at his house for the weekend, and he's just kind of coming to Krishna consciousness, practicing about 2 years. He's not, he's kind of on the path. And my God, he's got about, but I was just listening to all the projects he's doing because he's into what's it? He's into what do you call it? The internet and making videos and doing this and that. He must be trying to do about 25 different businesses.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's complete, you know, and there's so much is wrong, so much reversals are happening for him. Anyway, trying to say my impression, he's a good soul, but he's very much presently in his life as a young man, um, with a newly born child and a wife, and she's got about 20 projects he's trying to make money from, you know. So, so it's characteristic of life in a mode of passion. Now, if we read um, Narada Muni's instructions to Marge Yudhisthira about Varnashram, that's the end of the seventh canto. Then it speaks about civilized human life, and it speaks about different varnas and different ashrams, and it gives advice for a Vaishnava. So the advice for a Vaishnava is to keep life as simple as possible. Yeah, for someone who's practicing bhakti, Sudha bhakti, and is aiming to achieve Krishna, then we want to organize our lives in a very simple way, not be overcomplicated. Even
Mm.
even Narada gives advice to, in the sense that we can lie sometimes in order to keep our life simple. Say, for example, if you're leading a simple life and you're satisfied with a simple income, you know, then or whatever, then but your relatives or your parents or they're on at you. You should do this. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't etc. etc. Then Narada advises that you should simply say yes, what you are saying is correct, but then do nothing.
Then you must.
I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, I should get a bigger house just like you have. I should get a Tesla just like you have. Get a bigger, more paying job just like you have. Yeah, 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 yeah. Then you don't do anything. There's advice from Narada Muni. Okay, let's continue.
But I was also listening, Devi Shakti Mata's Prabhupada's Lila Metta. How we should like look at Prabhupada's life, so regulated, everything
Yeah,
regulated. And that's how we should, our life should. I see one devotee in the Pujari when I'm there. and does so much service, but it's not, can I use the word regulated? No, it's not timely sorted out, you know?
This is where you can offer advice. I mean, senior.
Like you say you want to make a cake and you want to offer it at 12 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Then you try and make it at 11. What's it going to be? Hot. You can't put cream on it. And so you mode of goodness. You know, okay,
Yeah,
let me do that first, put it out by there so it starts cooling off. Then I will do this. So your thought should be in the mode of goodness in a way, not passionate. Yes, I made this for Krishna, I made this for Krishna. But the whole time you've been running like headless chicken in a way.
Yeah, you're bringing up an important point. I don't know if devotees this conversation's okay, Mother Seja, Sejal, and
Yes, Prabhu Hare
yeah, you're
Krishna.
listening. I guess we all got experience serving in temples and serving in Bhajai.
I think, isn't it natural sometimes? Because, like, for example, I'm talking about myself, that I, have just started helping with cake making, and it,
Mm.
naturally it feels I've done something for Krishna, but slowly, like as you go along and you read more and you understand, then like I used to take pictures of cake before I offered it. But now I've understood that I shouldn't take any pictures before it's offered to Krishna, because it's for Krishna. It's for him, not
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
And so that reflection comes through, and I'm thinking, oh God,
Yeah.
it's not for me. And slowly, I think it takes time to gradually come to that kind of consciousness that you are doing this for Krishna and no one else, and it should be
Yeah.
for his pleasure.
Yeah, and that's why Bhajari service to the Lord personally is very educational
Yeah.
because we learn to fine tune our consciousness, because we're serving Krishna personally, and everything should be for Krishna's for like Krishna's pleasure. So yeah, so that way it's very conducive. That's why it's very conducive for the mode of goodness. But the point is that it's I think we're seeing how much the modes of nature may affect our service. Yeah. Can it? But if we can be seems to be strongly situated in the mode of goodness, then we can do a lot more quality service, and we can do it for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one point as well. Sorry, Mata. Like Mother Vrajbhumi comes and cooks, and then sometimes she has to leave early.
Yeah.
So I was struggling between cooking, helping with the cleaning up of the two kitchens, and then going on to do transfer. And then I had a talk with Vamsi Prabhu, and he was like, just focus on one thing rather than doing too many things.
Yeah.
And then your focus is doing that perfectly rather than doing imperfect things, three different imperfect things,
Yeah, that's a really good lesson because often I guess we're having a bit of a what do they call it? Roasting.
But is it passionate to have attachment to your service?
No, it's not passionate, but just no, of course not. How can it be passionate? But it can
Because,
be passionate. It may be again, sometimes we see that devotees come into the Bajari and I want to do everything and I want to please everyone and do everything for everyone. And they end up becoming completely passionate.
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
See, when I cook Rajbhog, I will not take noon arti because I'd rather finish Rajbhog properly.
Yeah.
And clean the kitchen myself.
Yeah.
Because that is cleaning the kitchen is the most merciful thing than me going there, standing there and offering arti to Krishna. To me, that's my answer.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it.
Sometimes I think a conclusion here is that we want to do quality service rather than just trying to do quantity.
Yeah.
Sometimes they
Yeah.
think that, okay, I'm doing Bajari service, I want to get the most mercy. I want to do absolutely everything, as most things I can possibly do. And end up becoming a frenzied ball of passion.
Yeah.
Because
I was very attached to my noon transfer.
Yeah.
And then because nobody's there to clear up after Rajbhog, and then we'd have to arrange someone else to clear the kitchen. And I thought, well, I think Krishna looks at every service in the same equal way, whether I do this or that.
Yeah.
And so I thought, no, I'll focus on cleaning the two kitchens and then make sure that it's done perfectly rather than, go for my transfer and leave the other kitchen not cleaned properly.
Yeah, I was thinking that this session would be a good thing to send to all the Pujaris. Discussion. But also the Pujari department in of itself, especially the nature of our Pujari department, it's easy to get, because of the size of it and the amount of things going on in that small space, it's easy to become affected by the mode of passion. And even cooking itself, even because fire is in a mode of passion. So even being over a flame, it has this influence. It can influence to get quite, I mean, I experienced that when I was cooking. You know, as soon as I started cooking, it's quite easy to get in a mode of passion because fire is passionate. Unless you're really strongly situated in sattva, it's a good chance you're going to get affected just by the atmosphere and the place. You can imagine if we had the place 4 times as big with different stations for one devotee and it was all, you know, it'd be easier to maintain a sattvic environment. But because the place is so small, it can be quite difficult. I mean, that's why what we're doing presently at festival time, it's something we kind of introduced, but it's really good, is where we restrict the amount of people can be in the Pujari department. Because I'm sure you recall, devotees have been there many years. Sometimes it's just madness. There'd be about 30 devotees in that Pujari
It
department.
was absolutely crazy. I mean, it was quite unbelievable. I don't know how it was happening, but it was happening like
Yeah,
And everyone's getting angry with each other
everyone's
in the end.
like,
nobody can do anything really because there's
No.
too many people.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
struggling just to do the simplest thing.
yeah. You're trying to find a 2 inch space just to put a cake down so you can cut it, but isn't so?
The classic is like, oh, I had a knife. Did you take my knife? Why did you give it back to me? I need to finish this. This knife situation is really, I look and I really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we didn't introduce it before. I guess we're in mode of passion, so we didn't see it. We're kind of house blind. But I think at some point it became impossible, and something had to be done.
We are having more pujaris as well.
Yeah, now we've got more
They-
people
they
coming.
have-
Sometimes people just want to be in the Bajari for the thrill of being in the Bajari on Janmashtami, and they're
Yeah.
not doing anything. They're just they want the thrill of being in there, you know. But they're not actually don't have a Pacific service. And I mean, some devotees got a bit offended at first, but now I think everyone appreciates it now that we have to keep that environment in a sattvic. And very much, it has to be a sattvic environment because that's when we can do good quality service. That's when we can burn less things. That's things get offered on time and things are nice for Krishna.
Yeah.
But the temple room on Saturday evening was just crazy.
That's another.
That it was like a health and safety. I think
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
the control and security control was just nobody was listening. Nobody, it was just packed. I at one point I thought the floor was gonna collapse because the jumping and the amount of people in that room was just scary. It was quite scary.
Yeah, no, that's one. I don't know. We don't know how to tackle that, you know. Yeah, even if we got a bigger temple, it would be the same.
Yes. More and more
It'd be
people.
that kind of has a bit of yeah, that's at some point, yeah, it can be dangerous. But yeah, what can you do? I mean, probably most people don't come because of
Yeah,
probably there's more people who don't come than actually do come.
Won't be able
Yeah.
to question nothing. I won't. I'm too short. I can't jump up.
I don't think I could go through that again. It was scary. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Huh.
But, because
Are
they
we still looking for a bigger temple? Is the
Huh?
temple still looking for a bigger place?
Oh.
No?
Not actively pursuing it as perhaps we have in the past, finding properties and looking at properties, and it's not a subject of conversation at the moment. From my experience, I think now's not the time because we have tried in the past before. This is my personal take on it. And although we made quite some endeavors, it seemed like the doors were closing. Nothing flowed. It seems like Krishna's empowerment wasn't there. Do you remember that time when we had that petition to try and get 10,000 signatures?
Yeah.
Remember that one? We had a whole stage thing, a whole thing, and we was thinking 10,000 signatures, we'll easily get that in a week. We didn't. Though we put it all over the ISKCON world, it didn't happen. So presently at the moment, I mean, yeah, presently at the moment, it's not going forward as such, but it will happen at some point when the time is right.
Mm.
The time is
I want the
right.
temple to move to Camden.
Yeah, I think because the preaching, perhaps the preaching is such an important element. So the fact that that temple, we are doing lots of preaching, and because of the place where it is, so I think that's ultimately the most important. But anyway, let's see what happens. Yeah, so in it, just for there's no particular. I mean, I was on the new temple, chairman of the new temple committee for some
I
time.
remember that. We had a new account as well and everything.
Yeah, yeah. So, and in the past, on temple council over the years, we've always, sometimes it's part of the minutes. Sometimes, but presently, devotees are quite absorbed in the preaching and the 108, and we're maintaining that at the moment. But
Mm.
let's see. And my thing is, when the time is right, then Krishna will make it. Doors will start opening, and and lights will start shining, and directions of what to go will become quite easy. Once Krishna's mercy is there, or when it's, you know, so
To me, what I see now is because we having lots of different crowd coming in now. So like, Mohini Gopika, you saying it's like it was scary crowd control and all that. It's because different crowds. So to train them, even the volunteers are not really, to me, they're not properly trained to.
no, they just put on they kind of
They put the
volunteer,
yellow
they
thing
get
on
given a
and that's
jacket.
it. They're not trained to control the way.
No, there was no crowd control. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing like that from
Should
what
give
I.
some. We can give some feedback. I don't know. There's a feedback form going around. It's good, valuable feedback because
Yeah, it never used to be like that. It used to be quite, everyone was quite civilized. When you say no, it's no. But now it was just like even the barriers. They had to get rid of the barriers too because it was heaving. It was absolutely heaving onto the like the altar, even the curtain. They were just right next to the curtain. Mumsy probably had to even come out and say, "Go back, go back." It's just
I think we would take it seriously when a major disaster happens.
yeah,
Someone, I mean, we hear about in India, isn't it? Like you hear in India, these temples, there's
like a stampede.
stampedes and people get killed. Can you imagine if there was a fire that
Oh,
started in a temple at that time in that packed temple room and everyone had to
oh,
get out the door?
yes. No, it was.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I was just watching from home, and even at the Abhishek time, before Abhishek time, so quite a few volunteers were saying, "Please go out, please go out." But there wasn't nobody was moving to make
No.
space. I mean, I was just watching from home. But the thing is that there needs to be somebody stronger in charge, getting it all sorted out. Come this way, go out this way, and it can work. But I felt too many youngsters were just with this thing, hair not tied up. Jamavati says that exactly. I say the same thing. When you in that positions, you're just looking just pretty and trying to tell people go. They're not going to listen. You need.
I think a lot of it is insecurity. It's the devotees who are in the security. So other devotees say, "Oh, it's me. You know me. Go and let me go to it. It's me." But the thing is, if they're from outside, they don't really care. It's no is no. And that's it. I don't care who you are. This is the way out. But here it was, just give, just let me favor. You know me. So it was it was a bit like who kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not, the training's not there. Even when
Yeah.
I heard Suvana was telling me the other day, we're sitting down for prasad, they come to serve and they touch the spoon to their plate. She said, "Don't do that, don't do this," And I feel, where's the training? Lunchtime prasad serving. Where is the training for these people? with the training for the volunteers. You just pick anybody up and say, okay, can you start serving?
Yeah.
I did Ratnabhushan, he's in charge of the kind of in charge of the ground in the grounding festival. He's trying to do his best,
Mm.
Yeah.
especially on Janmashtami. I mean, I
Yeah.
said there was some discussion. What was that? What was the point of the discussion? There was some concern was brought up about something that happened. Was kind of, and so I sent a government guideline on safety for buildings and dealing with people,
Yeah.
crowds, and I sent a article from the government to Ratnabhusana, and so he was looking at that. So hopefully he might be inspired to try and offer some training.
It's
And
really
a
funny
big
because at the
topic-
manor, we went for Prashadam and the queue was so long and the police were there and the police were saying, this line of Prashadam is just too long. You need to get rid of some of these people. And everyone listened. Everyone was so scared to see the police there.
Oh, really?
And so they said, and they said, no, this line is health and safety. Get rid of some of these people. And the police were saying, come back at another time. This is where it stops, and then the others will
that's
come
great.
back. Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
need.
I know in America, every temple I was in New York, Washington,
Yeah.
and every big space for worship on the wall it has its license. This room hall is licensed to hold 300 people.
Yes.
That's every
Yeah.
temple, every
Yeah.
public place, it has a restriction.
That's
So
right.
I guess we have a look at Istagosti. I think we could perhaps look seriously at that and how try to arrange that there's a certain amount of numbers in that temple room.
Mm.
And then they stay for some time, then they go out. And it could be a big discussion. We've kind of
Yeah. Because then it's enjoyable for everybody rather than everyone shouting at each other, screaming at each other, and then the mood is going not Krishna consciousness, and then outside people are saying, "This is how you treat outsiders. We're not coming back again." To avoid all of that, if it was just systematic, then everyone knows their place and everyone enjoys it because they know we've come, we've taken darshan, and off we go. But when no one listens to the others, this is what happens.
But I
I guess
remember
it says about the passion.
days, going back a few years, people were being sent to the seminar room and they were going. There were so many sitting in the seminar.
I think you're sure that was happening this time, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what was happening because I was just scared to come out the temple room.
Yeah, one of the issues is because it's the nature of Janmashtami, like the focal point for everyone is 12 o'clock midnight.
Yes.
I've got to get in that temple to take darshan, the Lord, otherwise I'm gonna
rot in hell.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for myself, as well. I mean, I know because I got back from South London. I did a class there. I got back from South London at 11:30. And so what do? Do I go into the temple for darshan at 12 o'clock? And I thought of the scene, I thought of the situation, I thought, nah, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on Mayapur TV, and I was happy to watch it.
Exactly, you can take nicer
I guess,
darshan, you offer prayers.
I guess it's a sign of our age as well. We've kind of not a bit older. We don't want that scene. I was thinking as well in a sense that it's good. There's how I can explain that it is how to explain this in the right way. For someone who only can relate to Krishna within the temple, that's that symptom of kanishta.
Yes.
There's no devotion. It's not possible to be devotional. They don't have any sense of devotion to Krishna anywhere else. So they complete. So in one sense, especially the temple as it is, it's not as if, sometimes it's just too crowded. There's too many people in there, so we can appreciate Krishna's presence.
And they were all like, to me, they were all youngsters, like, recent people coming from India. Like I only So, to be there, they don't understand. I mean, I'm not.
There was a few brave hearts were there. I saw Adi Guru. He was there having a
Yeah, I heard him, and I saw even Radha Raman Prabhu writing.
man. He was there. I was surprised to
Yeah.
see him there. So that was good. They're brave hearts. They're prepared to
Yes.
austerity to take darshan.
But Adi Guru would have been there because Archana was coming for the midnight, the outfit.
That's of their feet.
Yeah, that's their thing, so.
Anyway, it's a good
Anyway, but
good discussion, we could perhaps discussion a mode of goodness in the temple, in the Pujari department, and how everyone could have a better experience on Janmashtami. It definitely helped having the square. At least
Oh, that was wonderful.
that was good. It's a bit of a breather.
Really wonderful. Yeah, lots of preaching going on. It was busy because we were doing the flowers there, but atmosphere was so nice.
Yeah, that was
Lovely.
nice, some breathing space,
Yeah.
Like
The
packed
best thing that was.
Yeah, that was good. That was great.
Really,
To have
yeah.
it next to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
really nice. Everyone was happy, everyone was mingling, everyone was enjoying. It was just really lovely atmosphere.
Yeah, I had a great time. Question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've solved all the problems in the temple.
yeah, I'm going to leave this slog for next week to get back to
Yeah.
14, 18.
Was that the one we read?
No, we only half read. And it's
Oh,
tomorrow.
let me just finish reading this one. I just finished reading it. Okay. I tried resist from commenting as I'm reading. Okay. But because there are mixtures, one can also go down. People on this earth in a mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by a machine. In a mode of passion, there is also a chance of becoming mad in the next life. Well, the lowest quality, the mode of ignorance, is described here as abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It is the lowest quality until nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life, birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. The word tamasa is very significant here. Tamasa indicates those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. There is an opportunity for men. Okay, that was a question earlier brought up, wasn't it? There is an opportunity for men in the mode of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness. Oh, yeah. And that system is called Krishna consciousness. There you go. One who does not take advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower modes. Good.
Ah,
I think, Mohini Gopika, you asked that question.
yeah,
I'll
yes.
give a very straightforward answer to it.
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness. Okay. Let's pause there and start next week on number 19. And a nice discussion about Janmashtami and yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
everyone. And our next reading hopefully be on Wednesday. We have Bhagavatamrita. So let's with that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Bhagavad ki jai.
Only
Hare
Prabhu ki
Krishna, Hare
jai.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram
Ram Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.